She's not honest. She's not super. I don't even think she's capable. She's made so many bad decisions. She would be a disaster as president of our country.
As I said in San Diego last week, I think that Donald Trump is unqualified to be president, and he is temperamentally unfit to be commander-in-chief.
I want to bring in former Florida Congressman and Fox News contributor, Lieutenant Colonel Alan West. Colonel West, good to see you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning, Maria. How are you?
Good. What's your take on this? We wake up this morning, the AP is reporting that Hillary Clinton is now the nominee, and you just heard what Bernie Sanders had to say.
Well, I have to somewhat agree with Harlan and his assessment is how does this affect the turnout today? Without a doubt, I think that there are two things that come into this. The turnout effect, of course, with people waking up knowing that, Secretary Clinton has the nomination. And then the optics of it from the Bernie Sanders perspective is that this is exactly what he has been talking about, these gatekeepers, these super delegates that people don't know who they are, and they are the ones that are determining the nominee. So it may cause a factor of more people coming out for Bernie Sanders in these primary contests to say that these superdelegates do not speak for us. Wow. And then the end result, you're going to have a very interesting event in Philadelphia because you may have folks that don't want to see this gatekeeper system of the superdelegates determine who their nominee is.
Bernie Sanders, Colonel West, Bernie Sanders supporters really came out because Nomi Konst, who is on this program very often, they were converging on Washington Square Park last night in New York City in response to this AP survey for Hillary Clinton. Does the fact that Bernie Sanders is still in it, the fact there's still so much opposition to her, does it hurt her in November like it did really what happened to Jimmy Carter back in 1980?
Mm-hmm. Well, absolutely, Dagan. It does hurt, and I think that for whatever reason, someone thought that this would be a good thing to make this call and this decision late last night. We also know that there was a telephonic conversation between President Obama and Bernie Sanders. So all of those things, again, play into this incredible optic that there is some manipulation going on, and those grassroots supporters of Bernie Sanders are not going to be pleased with that. And I think that that is going to cause a lot of consternation, and that may end up being the story of today, is that this AP story drove out more support for Bernie Sanders in the long run.
Is this possibly a sign that she's going to lose California and they know that and they want to change the narrative before it happens?
Well, yeah, without a doubt. You always have to think what is the real intended purpose of this story and what they're doing. And I think that's what they want to have is today is the historical moment. Hillary Clinton has clinched the nomination, the first woman to have the nomination of a major political party, instead of it being that she did lose California.
That's right.
And they don't want to talk about the momentum that has been lost by Secretary Clinton.
Yeah, that's a very smart analysis. Let me ask you about the Donald Trump side of things, because he's still facing pushback from major Republican leaders, including Senator Lindsey Graham, who's been urging Republicans now to unendorse Trump. Just as Speaker Paul Ryan is expected to unveil a plan for the better GOP that he says will show Americans what the will show people what the party stands for rather than focusing on what it's against. Can the party finally unite behind Trump, or are we looking at another hurdle now post the Mexican judge comments?
Well, I think one of the things that's incumbent upon Donald Trump is to show that he can be the nominee of the Republican Party. I am very confused. I don't understand why he's making it a national issue about his personal case with Trump University and, turning this into a very public spectacle. What Donald Trump needs to be doing is talking about not his own self-interest with this case, but the American interest. You all know what happened last week. We've come off of this 0.8% GDP report. We've come off of this 38,000 jobs report. We have a workforce participation rate of 62.6%. Those are the type of things that Donald Trump should be talking about. We know now about what is going on from the Boston Globe report about criminal illegal immigrants. I mean, he should be talking about these points, these issues and these policy points, and not trying to rally people in support of his own personal case.
That's
and
right.
I think that is causing a lot of turmoil.
We've been talking about that all all morning, actually, Colonel West, because it's true. I mean, it's like it was handed to him on a silver platter. And yet, you know, Hillary Clinton says she wants to build on Obamacare. She wants to build on Dodd-Frank, all of the policies that have led us to 38,000 jobs.
Right. Colonel West, can I ask you about this Paul Ryan plan that we're talking about coming out? Is this an important moment for the GOP? I mean, it seems like the party doesn't really know what it stands for at this point. Is he positioning himself to become the standard bearer for what it does stand for if they don't win the election this time around?
Well, I think it's important for him as the Speaker of the House to set a legislative agenda. I think it's important for Donald Trump as the presumptive nominee to, supply some type of vision for America that he could work with a speaker and they could come together. And I would say that the Speaker is seeing that there's a void, a gap that has to be filled. That's what he is seeking to do, is to say that this is our plan. This is the way to head. Because you remember, you still have House and Senate elections that are up. And if you lose the House and Senate, then you can say, you're going to make America great, but if you don't have that legislative body to support that, it's not going to happen. So they need to work together. And let me just close by saying this about Secretary Clinton. I know a lot of people are really enthused, but as a 22-year military veteran, I don't know how anyone could support someone that abandoned Americans to die and then lied about it. I just don't get this.
Yeah. Well, we'll leave it there because that was a strong ending, and I think that sentiment is shared by many. Lieutenant Colonel Alan Wells, good to see you, sir. Thanks so much.